At this point, being a big YouTuber also means you're a big clothing brand. Almost every big YouTuber at this point has merch, but considering a lot of these people originally meant to be entertainers and not clothing designers, a lot of YouTuber merch ends up being lackluster and only something you would get if you're a fan of the channel. But occasionally, YouTubers come up with a merch brand so good that it ends up becoming more popular than the YouTube channel itself. And there's no better example of this than H3's Teddy Fresh merch. A brand so successful that they ended up collaborating with SpongeBob, as well as revitalizing the trend of color block merchandise. But obviously, being a trendsetter means that other people will follow in the trend. And that happened when James Charles announced his new merch line, which looks very similar to H3's Teddy Fresh. H3 decided to comment on this on his Twitter when he said, "I know we didn't invent color blocking, but I'm having a hard time with the new James Charles merch. It's the same exact design as Ila's. Combined with the fact that his audience is so huge, many people will assume he designed it and start accusing us of plagiarism. What do you think?" He then shows a picture of James Charles's merch, his merch, and then the amount of people on TikTok who are seeing the promotional material for James Charles's merch. He then follows it up by saying, "It's possible it's all a totally cosmic coincidence, but he pretty much used the identical colors here too. He at least moved him around a bit." Alex Hirsch responds to H3 by saying, "100% ripoff, bro. You're selling Teddy Fresh. He is selling Teddy Stale." Ethan responds, "Thank you, Mr. Hirsch." CEO of Nothing says, "Holy shit, that's a straight up ripoff." James Miller says, "Dude, I saw that top left video on my timeline today and was hyped James Charles was rocking Teddy Fresh. Thought it was like an upcoming crossover or some shit. Damn, I feel for Ela here." Nerd City responds by saying, "And another one," showing a mock-up of a James Charles ripoff of Logan Paul's merch. Keegan then responds to him by saying, "This is getting out of hand," showing a James Charles ripoff of Nerd City merch. Elvis the Alien responds to Ethan by saying, "It's practically the exact same thing. There's no way this is a coincidence. If he wasn't a YouTuber, then maybe. But even then," Ethan responds, "It's the fact that it's the same exact colors and placement. It's almost identical. Otherwise, I would have never even mentioned it." William Olsman responds to Ethan by saying, "I thought this was a collab at first glance." Ethan responds, "Unfortunately not." Anna the Star Being says, "Dude, it's basically plagiarism. Yes, you didn't invent color blocking, but you definitely popularized it. It's your signature style. He even used the same colors but just lighter. He didn't even try to make it look different. Like, what the fuck?" This is my face right now. Keen says, "You should attack the Sidemen. Nordstorm and many other companies as well then," showing that the Sidemen also made a color block hoodie very similar to Ethan's. Awful Bartender responds to Ethan by saying, This style has been around for a while. It's literally a 90s aesthetic. And you can find identical looks by googling 90s color block hoodies like I did, and it took about 2 seconds. I'm not even a James Charles fan, but the reach here is pretty embarrassing." Zach Stevens responds to H3 by saying, "I mean, y'all jacked the Vancouver Grizzlies shit like it was no big deal. Lol, now you are complaining when someone does it to you? Come on, bro." Showing that a Teddy Fresh design does indeed look similar to the Vancouver Grizzlies. Red Hot Dank Moist responds to H3 by saying, "Lol, and I'm going to call out Tommy Hilfiger for stealing the idea from you." Psst, stop Ethan. You think there are any original ideas? Everything's a copy with a variation. You can spot the differences. If yes, then stop whining and do something constructive about it. Love you though. Oscar says, "Isn't this his best friend?" Laughing my ass off, showing that one of James Charles's friends wore Teddy Fresh on Instagram. Ethan responds to him by saying, "I've heard they are friends, but I'm not 100% sure." And then Oscar replies by showing a picture of a bunch of videos he ended up doing with James Charles. Creepshow Art quote tweets Ethan and says, "Okay, here's the thing. No. As an artist, the answer is actually no. The concept is absolutely way too vague to be considered plagiarism. The exact colors do not match. And this concept has been around long before you or Ela did this. It is similar, yes, but color blocked. Sweatshirts have been around forever. Had he copied the logo and branding, you would have a case. Also, I have more to say. Ethan saying this would be like me saying Ethan or Ela copied Paddington, Winnie the Pooh, or even fucking Build-A-Bear by having a bear as their logo. It's a dumb argument, and he should feel bad about it. In the news today, I tie-dyed something, therefore no one else can do it. I made it. It's mine. If you tie-dye anything, you owe me royalties." Smokey Glow responds to Creepshow by saying, "Also they are on opposite ends of the internet, and have polar opposite fan bases. His argument that people would think they stole from James doesn't really hold up. It kinda feels like he just wanted to call him out to call him out." Creepshow continues talking about this when she says, Here's why this is stupid. Ethan saying this is essentially saying no one could have ever come up to this design without seeing the Teddy Fresh one first. They did not invent or popularize this design. It's like saying you made tie-dye merch, and therefore anyone else who makes tie-dye merch is inspired by you. Which is clearly not the case, because tie-dye has been around for years. Hila was inspired by the artists who came before her. A designer didn't need to know about Teddy Fresh to make this design. T-Spill reacts to Ethan's tweet by saying, "Hi guys, welcome back to yet another weekly respill." She then makes a poll that says, "Did James copy the hoodie?" Which at 20k.7 votes, ended up being 65% guilty and 35% innocent. She then continued by saying, "If James/his merch team changed the color placement, then there would be no issues. The color placement is just too much of a coincidence. Yes, this style has been around for a long time, but I've only seen this color story from Teddy Fresh." James Charles himself then responds to Ethan when he says, "When you DM'd me yesterday, I sent you the original photo that inspired my collection. Explained I've never seen your brand, but also asked what you wanted me to do. You didn't reply. After last year, I vowed to keep conversations private and create solutions, not drama. H3, if you'd like to continue our conversation and find a solution, my DMs are still open." Foul Syrup responds to James by saying, "Baby, you're ripping off Klein, and she worked hard to create her brand. At least flip the colors around. This is literally exactly the same. Come on now. Make something personal to your brand and sell to your fans. It would be more meaningful, trust." A-Boy replies to James by saying, "But yours in the exact same colors. You were basically stealing. Why are you so problematic?" Jonah AF says, "So if James plagiarized, what about these? I can go into my mom's closet and find some pastel color block clothing from the 80s. Teddy Fresh, if you want to win the game of fame, don't cry about it. Be better. Sell for a lower price, whatever. Clients will gravitate to the better piece." Sophie says, "Even if you didn't see their brand before, your team should have done more research. Teddy Fresh is not a small brand. You used the exact same colors down to the cuffs. I find it hard to believe someone on your team didn't see Teddy Fresh before." Dustin Daly responds to James by saying, "Don't even bother with them, James." Cuddle Time Kitty says, "Okay, James, I like you. But this is literally the exact same color scheme. Same arms, main body, hood, strings, and even the wrist. There's no denying that whoever designed this for you saw Hila's design and copied it." Miku responds to James by saying, "Crazy you say you haven't seen it, yet it's all over TikTok, and one of the people you follow has a video where they are wearing it." Leafy responds to James by saying, "W." He then designs his own color block hoodie and says, "Collaboration project with James Charles. Cut and sewn limited edition design. Giving 7 away that retweet this." And then he tweets out that Hila blocked him for this. Anyways, Ethan responds to James by saying, "I give you permission to share our convo. You told me you were going to sell them anyway. You also admitted that the similarity wasn't a coincidence. I DM'd you because I wanted to keep this private, but I found your response combative and dismissive." Ethan then posts his response again to James Charles, but this time in a quote tweet, which causes some more people to reply to it. Chris Melberger responds to H3 by saying, "Every kid in 2018/19 on TikTok had one of these damn hoodies. I doubt he had never seen them before." Foul Syrup says, "Not his first time ripping off another brand either," showing that James Charles did a very similar design to Pablo. Triple Decker Supreme responds to H3 by saying, "No offense to Hila, but are we all seriously pretending as if the design is super original in the first place? It's literally 4 colors on a soft hoodie. I hate to say that a 5-year-old could have designed it, but it looks like something straight out of a kid's coloring book." Courtney Charlie says, "Sharing the convo is literally the opposite of being mature and professional. Grow up, H3. This is a business, not high school drama." Hila then makes a tweet of her own on the situation by saying, "I guess I might as well share some behind the scenes. This is my first sketch of the color block hoodie from 2017, before we had a logo for Teddy Fresh, and in the other pic is the pink one. This is usually how I work on our color palettes." Ethan responds to her by saying, "Queen." Creepshow Art quote tweets her and says, "This doesn't show anything? Other than you knew what color blocking was in 2017. Seeing as it has been around in fashion for years, I genuinely feel like I'm taking crazy pills." Paige Christie says, "I don't care about Ethan, Hila, or James. They are all millionaires having millionaire problems. Teddy Fresh isn't inventive. The fact y'all are fighting over this is embarrassing." Bwend responds to Hila by saying, "Y'all act like slapping a couple colors on a hoodie is so hard. So many websites have the exact same hoodies, same color and everything. Y'all are just mad because it's James Charles." Sebastian responds to Hila by saying, "I'm not trying to defend James Charles, but I'm gonna say you look ridiculous pretending the idea was original to begin with. It's literally a classics 90 color block fashion. There are ones that have been around since then. that look also identical to yours. So let's stop. Melissa says, "This is undoubtedly him stealing your ideas, Hila. I'm sorry people are so selfish and unoriginal." Lenore responds to her by saying, "I had a hoodie nearly identical to this in 1995. Color block pastels aren't original. You can Google pastel color block hoodie and see hundreds of them. It's cute and trendy. Was super popular in the 80s and 90s, and is currently a trend in Asia." Keemstar tweets out, "I support James Charles. He did nothing wrong. James Charles is being falsely accused by an individual who has falsely accused me. Hashtag Stan James." Is Ethan Klein trying to convince the internet he created pastel colors? I'm pretty sure the Easter Bunny could sue that motherfucker. Retweet for a chance to win a hoodie I've been working on since 1993. This is my original idea I came up with when I was in the 5th grade. Ricky Berwick responds to him by saying this.
Better give me one, goddammit.
Leafy copies Keemstar's tweet and then tweets out a Twitter video titled, "Don't Trust Ethan."
Alright, welcome back to a brand new video. As you can see, the gameplay has changed quite a bit. Bro, this shit is so sick. Can you imagine if I actually got in a car accident and hit fucking one of these videos? Alright, I'm not hitting 110, bro. I'm gonna get fucking pulled over. But, oh my god. We're almost at 120. Let's go, 120, bro. Alright, I'm not going fucking higher than that. Anyways, dude, what was I even gonna talk about with this shit? I don't even know, man. Fucking Ethan Klein. You know, definitely a little bit of a snake. I don't know, man. It's been a few years. He's like still doing people dirty like that. It's not very cool, man. You know? Next thing you know, he's just gonna start like leaking people's DMs. Just, you know, really not a trustworthy guy. What else is there even that, you know, needs to be said? I don't know. Dude, am I really getting pulled over?
Leafy then tweets out, "Holy shit, bro, Black Lives Matter, what the fuck?" showing that the cops are coming to pull him over for speeding. He then says, "Police was tipped by Ethan, but only a verbal warning. Police said nice bends, hold L." Taro responds, "Police less corrupt than Twitch and YouTube." Obviously referring to Leafy being banned on both platforms. Leafy then responds, "Lol. Yeah, very nice to me. Now I'm home and can eat my late night McDonald's." Augie RFC comments on all of this by saying, "Where's my statement, Ethan Klein?"
You know, I don't believe in YouTuber apologies, or really apologies in general. I'm just questioning where the statement is. Where is the accountability? You know what I mean? Like, I'm seeing on Twitter now, apparently there's some drama where Ethan, he was pitching a fit about his clothes or whatever, his line, Teddy Fresh. Apparently James Charles used the same colors, and H3 slid into his DMs yesterday, was saying, "Hey, what's up with this?" And James wrote him back, and then H3 left him on red, and then fired a shot on Twitter, and now he's just getting blasted by the whole community for being another, you know, it's just another example of him being a fraud. I don't care about any of this, by the way. Where is the statement on that psychopath, pedophile you promoted, Mr. Britbong, who sends CP to minors? Aiden Projects, 15 years old? Well, he's actually 16 now. Not that it's any better. Where's the statement on that? I don't care about an apology. I don't care about any of this. Just take accountability. People are saying, "Oh, well, it's not Ethan's fault because he's not responsible for another man's actions." Yeah, true. I agree with that. The problem is that this guy promoted Britbong, gave him a platform, gave him legitimacy. That's really the worst part of all of this. He gave this guy legitimacy. Even though every YouTuber in the book who's had a fight with Britbong told H3 behind the scenes, you know, respected YouTubers too, not just Keemstar, but, you know, people like Nerd City and Colossal's Craze or whatever, they told Ethan, they told you, hey, stay away from this guy. He's not legitimate. He has no legitimate grievance against any of these people. He deserved everything that came to him because he's a psychopath. But you propped him up anyway. Let him go loose. And now I've got a guy threatening to take down my channel and sue me because I called it out. So Ethan, where's the statement on that? I almost lost my channel because You promoted a guy who's going nuts, who's going haywire in the whole community. This isn't YouTube drama at this point. This isn't drama. This is like serious stuff. And you want to go bitch about someone's clothes? I don't care, Ethan. Let's talk about what's really important. And I know you're blocking people who mention the CP, by the way. Not a good look.
Young Crip tweets out, I know I didn't invent disabilities, but I'm having a hard time with Ricky Berwick's wheelchair. It has the same four-wheel design as mine. Combined with the fact that his audience is so huge, many people will assume he is more disabled and start accusing me of plagiarism. What do you think? Ricky responds by saying this.
This is a horrible fucking joke. Delete this.
Someone asks Philip DeFranco any thoughts on the H3 and James Charles situation, to which he responds, slowly puts away potential color block, don't be stupid, stupid design. James responds, I'd buy it. TwizFizz makes a parody video on this titled, Made some new original merch, no stealing.
What's up guys? Today I'm very excited to share with you something I've been working on for the past 3 years. That's right, my very own, completely original, new merch line. Whoa! Just what do you think you're doing? Why? I was just premiering my new merch line with my new original design. Your design? That's my original design! I have no idea what you're talking about. I went to design school for 10 years to make that design and you just stole it! I've never seen your brand before in my life. Liar! Now everyone's gonna think I stole this from you! Oh, sorry you're that irrelevant. Oh, well sorry, your merch is ugly. Oh, what? It's the same as yours. Oh, so you admit it. Well, fine. Fine, they look similar. What do you want me to do about it? Let's figure something out. We can't figure something out now! Let's just have a little talk, figure something out. You're already selling it! We'll figure something out. No! We can just have a little talk. There's literally nothing you can do to fix this now! Well, then what do you want? To be angry! Hey guys, what's up? Oh, matching. Where did you get that hoodie? I don't know, just some random shop. Oh my god, I can't believe this! They stole my original design! Who did?
Repzilla tweets out, gonna be honest, James Charles can use color block pattern, cause it's just that, a pattern. Internet Unwind says, laughing my ass off, call me crazy. It's totally possible that James Charles merch wasn't designed after Teddy Fresh. It's an 80s fashion that other brands are also doing. I don't know. I really doubt Ela started the revival of color block in my opinion. It's probably coincidence. As for the color matching, it's possible the designer he had doing these had seen Teddy merch at some point and unintentionally recreated it. There's a funny thing we do in our brains where we don't always fully recall information when creating and duplicating things thinking it's new. It's not a stretch as it happens all the time. However, it's clearly just one possibility that would explain the situation. The designs could have been intentionally nabbed at some point along the line, but I think there's too much nuance for this reaction, laughing my ass off. Roberto Blake says, the same kids defending James Charles stealing Eli Klein's design would crucify any YouTuber for copying James' titles or thumbnails. Just think about that for a moment, while simultaneously insisting that companies should never copyright claim creators. Ethan Klein then finds an old tweet that James made on September 7th, 2019, where he said, there are only so many colors you can put into an eyeshadow palette, and I'm not claiming to own specific colors, but when you copy the exact shades and layout from my palette without even trying to hide it? Clown emojis. Ethan comments on this by saying, then follows it up by saying, for context, a company made a palette with colors very similar to his, and this was his response. I'm gonna leave this message on screen for a bit. It's pretty long, and this video is already kind of long, so I don't want to read it out, but James is just essentially saying that this brand copied his color palette, which is kind of hypocritical considering his current situation with Teddy Fresh. Courtney Charlie responds to H3 by saying, did you express this concern to him privately, or are you just gonna keep trying to cause a hate train towards him? Sierra responds to him by saying, laughing my ass off, bro. Not everything revolves around James Charles. Ethan even defended him during the Taddy drama. I'm sure he doesn't want hate towards him, but his wife worked really hard to make her dream come true, and for another person to just copy it, it sucks. About a day later, Ethan continues to talk about the situation by posting this TikTok with the caption, I really would never say anything, but it's the exact colors in the exact spot on our most iconic item. response to H3 by saying, grown men fighting with a 21-year-old over something that could have been talked about in DMs or a phone call. If it's that deep, file a lawsuit or something. Not sure what fans are gonna do to solve the situation for either of you. Herix19 says, I agree with you, but you're really milking this Speaking of milking it, he talks about this topic more in depth on his podcast later that day. Here is what he said.
As you guys may know, we are embroiled in a little tiny bit of a controversy with James Charles. And by the way, it's not because he's got a bigger, fatter ass than me.
Because he doesn't.
Now that you say that,
that's a whole different issue. People be like, Ethan, you're just mad because he has a fatter ass than you.
I actually have not seen anyone say that, but now I doubt everything.
Yeah, there's definitely an ulterior motive. By the way, you can compare ass to ass and decide for yourself who has a fatter ass. And I do want to preface this by saying that I have nothing personal about James Charles. And my intention with this of calling him out was not, I really, really wanted to avoid drama. And that's why I private messaged him before going public with this. But, like, the thing is, I mean, you guys know because you guys are fans, but a lot of people don't understand is that hoodie is, like, our most iconic piece. And it's our #1 seller. It has been for years. And, like, James Charles making, it's exactly the same hoodie.
It's actually been ripped off a lot, too. But normally, like...
Here, let me show it, because people may not know.
We wouldn't really... do anything about it because what can you do? But I think in this case it just kind of hurt because it's a fellow YouTuber who's actually got way bigger influence than we do.
Yeah, way big.
And so it just kind of hurts. But, you know.
Well, the thing is, like,
these things do happen.
There's tons of websites like Zazzle and Zayful. There's tons of websites.
Did a complete exact copy of it.
People all over the internet have been doing that.
Yeah.
And then, but, like, the thing is that, well, here, I tweeted out, I didn't know, we didn't invent color blocking, which is, again, something that I really stand behind, because color blocking is very popular, and a lot of people do color blocks, and I would never dream of saying, you know, oh, you own color block. We own color blocking, and you're stealing. So, but the thing is here is that I'm having a hard time with his merch, because this is the exact same design as Ela's. And combined with the fact that his audience is so huge, they're going to start accusing us of plagiarism. What do you think? So here's his hoodie. And then here's our hoodie. It's the same sleeve color.
Hi, sisters.
Teal and purple. The same body color. It's just a little lighter, really. Same hood. Even the hood and the drawstring are yellow. The sleeves are yellow. I mean, it's literally exactly the same.
Wow.
So here's all the TikToks where he was promoting the hoodie. That has a combined view count of like 60 million. Yeah, 60 million. Maybe more. I mean, maybe more. So, like, I basically, just out of pure self-preservation, was like, look, I got to. We thought about it for a few days because it started popping up more and more. People being like, hey, James Charles is ripping your shit off, And I thought about it for a long time. And I DM'd him in the DMs, and I want to share it so fucking bad because he brought it up. When I DM'd him, first of all, he was super dismissive and flippant and rude because my intention was to be like, I don't want it to come public, and I want to talk to him first and just see what he has to say. And he was like, I've never heard of your brand. I don't know anything about it, and I don't know what you're talking about, and I already made it. There's nothing I can do. And he was, like, super rude, too. He's like, why are you even messaging me? He said, why are you even messaging me? Are you just trying to start drama? Mm-hmm. But if I was trying to start drama, I would have just tweeted and not messaged him. And then he goes like, well, we should resolve this in the DMs. And then he says, I asked what you wanted to do, and you didn't respond, which is not true. I said...
I mean, he said he's going to sell them anyway. So what is there to do about it?
Well, but it's literally not true. He said, I'm going to talk to my design team and get back to you. And 3 days passed. And so I was like, well, there's just nothing's going to happen. And I have to protect our brand and your work because, again, he's going to sell 1 billion of these hoodies, and he's just going to kill this style, which is our, frankly, bread and butter.
I mean, I don't know if it's gonna kill the style, but it's fine. I think that it was fine to make it public just so people are aware, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that.
But again, you saw the 60 million people are like, they don't know. And I think it's a little, if it was just a little tiny bit different, I wouldn't have said a fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's identical, and that's the part that kills me, right? So anyway, also he goes, he also messed, this is the part that I really want to share, but you won't let me. The thing is, he brought up the DM, so I feel like he's saying it's okay to share it.
He's not.
But he literally said after I confronted him, and I hadn't seen this colorway here, he says, oof, just to give you a heads up, it appears that this one has the exact same colors, and it looks like the design team totally ripped you off. He literally said that.
Hi, sisters.
And I said, wow, so it doesn't seem like a coincidence, does it? And he said, it's not. He says, it does not appear to be a coincidence. So he literally admit that they ripped us off in the DM.
It seems pretty clear that potentially he personally was not aware, although that is very questionable too. But let's say that it was not, someone on his team was, but it doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, it's his responsibility.
Yeah, that's the thing he keeps skirting around. It's like, oh, my designers did it. But, like, it's your company. And I totally believe that he wouldn't, by the way. When I first saw that, I figured, like, oh, there's no way he would knowingly just rip us off. It must have been someone in his team, and he wasn't aware. But now he's trying to say, like, I've never seen your brand. I don't know anything about Teddy Fresh. I never heard of Teddy Fresh. And then now a bunch of people are like, dude, your best friend is wearing Teddy Fresh. And
he also said to you, like, our audience is completely different too, so I wouldn't even worry.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, that's actually not true.
Well, that was such a douchey comment. He goes, well, anyway.
I don't think he's aware of the size or audience of Teddy Fresh.
No,
and it's actually just not true. It's a lot on TikTok. And he is a lot on TikTok, so it is the same people.
It is. Well, yeah, and that whole premise is just so douchey and dismissive. He goes, well, anyway, even if I did rip you off, it's not even the same audience, so it won't matter. I was like, okay. I wish I could share this conversation with you guys.
Well, we just did.
Yeah, I guess. But people got to see to believe, man. The thing is, he was just super rude to me, and I was trying to be really polite, but I don't know. Yeah, and then the irony on top of it all, because James Charles acts like this whole thing is so crazy, but like this tweet from September 2019 really shows that he knows what it's like. Mm-hmm. There was another company that knocked off his color palette. And so he tweeted this, and he called them out on Instagram. He said, there are so many colors you can put into an eyeshadow palette. And I'm not claiming to own specific colors, but when you copy the exact shades and layout from my palette without even trying to hide it, clown emoji. I mean, he's describing exactly what happened.
Right.
So he should have some empathy for where we're coming from instead of being so flippant and dismissive. Because whether he knows it or not, he is that big company.
Right.
You know, he's going to sell like a bajillion of that shit.
We have people in the chat right now saying that they're fans of both H3 and James Charles, just for the record.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are.
He has so many fans. I mean, his audience...
He's way bigger than us. Obviously, there's an overlap.
Right.
And it's the same age. Like, I mean, there's a range, obviously, but there's a lot of the same people.
This was it, by the way. And, like, yeah, I see the comparison, but I would even go as far as to say that his hoodie is way more of a direct ripoff than this is. You know? And he had, like, this whole thing he wrote up, which I'm not going to read, but, you know. He talks about how it's his artistic integrity, and he spent all this time on the colors, and then they're just going to rip him off. And I'm like, dude, I just don't know why you don't have more empathy for us if you're willing to say all that stuff in your own defense. You know? And there's actually, let me go over to, have you guys heard of Ethan Klein, H3 TikTok? He's kind of a huge up-and-comer in 2020. Let me show you, because, just mute that. When you see it next to each other like this, you can really see, I mean, it looks like he's wearing my hoodie. And by the way, Theodore was so cute when I was filming this. And I didn't even know he was standing there looking at the camera. And then when I looked back at the video, He was with me, right? But I didn't know he was staring. And then when I looked back, it was so cute. And he was like, he saw himself in the TikTok, and then he smiled and looked away. He got all embarrassed. He's so fucking awesome. So cute. Oh my God. He's the best ever. Ethan Klein.
Another thing is people are only focusing on the colors, but the placement, like I don't know any other hoodie that has that placement of the colors in that way.
It's identical. I mean, it's the same hoodie. That's the thing. Even if you use the same colors in a different placement, let's say that this sleeve was the body and this was the sleeve, I wouldn't have said anything.
It's just all the factors together. It's the fact that we are from the same environment. We do business in the same way. We're on the same platforms. That all is combined together to just feel very bad. That's all.
Right.
So that's that. And anyway, I think for the most part, anyone who isn't like a ride or die James Charles fan or Keemstar totally understands where we're coming from. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to seem like a petty, whiny bitch, but like, you know, it's exactly the same.
Despite what he said on the podcast a day afterwards, he decides to delete the DMs anyways. He captions it by saying, James basically admits his team ripped off us, but says it's fine because we don't have the same fan base or demographic. The DMs he shows starts off with James Charles saying, oof. Looking closer at the screenshot you sent me, I will give you the heads up that one of the colorways we are doing is actually an exact copy of the purple, tan, pink, and teal hoodie you guys have. I designed the pastel one based on the Nike hoodie, but my design team pitched me a bunch of colorways. Once we decided on doing a color block collection, and I liked that one and said yes, once again, not being familiar with your brand or hoodie. The units have been produced for a while now, so there's nothing I can do, but I'll definitely be speaking to them because although I didn't copy anything, they certainly may have, which is not okay. Ethan responds, not really a coincidence then, is it? James responds, but it appears as though it may not be. I'm speaking with the team now, so I'll keep you updated on what they say. Ethan responds, well, I'm not sure what to say. That hoodie is pretty much our hallmark as a brand, but now I'm learning more than one is knocked off, so I'm a little speechless, I guess. James responds, once again, the main hoodie in the collection isn't knocked off. It had a different source of inspiration, has a different color body and different color pocket, and logo is completely different. Placement, size, and color. You don't own color block either. The other colorway, which I did not personally select, but approved, however, is extremely similar, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of how the design team came up with. Regardless, we don't have the same fan base or demographic, so there's really no competition here. All I can tell you is that I've never shopped on your website before, so I did not copy your brand. After showing these DMs, Ethan continues tweeting on his timeline to address why he shared it. He says, why am I sharing this? 1. I think it's worth showing he admitted he ripped us off with all the people who've been denying it. 2. I have no desire to take legal action, so this is the closest I can get to some sense of justice before he sells a billion of these. 3. He has gone on a warpath when someone ripped his makeup. 4. All of our fans who will be wearing their color block will now be mistaken as James Charles fans. iDubbbz responds to Ethan by saying, why is no one talking about this upside down smiley face emoji times whatever amount? This is kind of an evil emoji. Everyone who has ever used this emoji is evil, I reckon. 666 kind of crap in my honest opinion. Ethan responds, thank you, iDubbbz. Comment Etiquette responds to Ethan by saying, hey Ethan, check out my new merch. Showing a picture of his merch with the logo scribbled off and saying Eric instead. My Rosie says, I didn't copy you. My merch ripped you off. With my consent. With me doing no research to where they got the idea. And didn't think twice about giving a shit to your merch. Good job, James. Pumpkin Zulu says, I honestly think this is drama that isn't suited to someone yours or Ila's age. Who the fuck cares? It's like y'all think these sorts of color block hoodies weren't all the rage in the 80s and 90s, laughing my ass off. Sue if you think it's legit, but is it really Twitter-worthy? Cupquake says, so sorry this happened to you guys. There will always be someone who sees what you have built and want it for their own. Keep creating and being awesome. Laura Byron says, no fan of James, but his responses are more professional than yours, and you should be embarrassed by that honestly. And he makes it clear he was unfamiliar with your brand, so no, not admitting to ripping it off, only admitting its similarity. Smiley Melon says, God, you are even insufferable in private texts. He explained it, and said he's trying to figure out how this happened. He also said they already produced it. So why would he not sell them? Do you want him to have a complete loss? Would you pay for them to not sell them? T-Sesh responds to H3 by saying, "You didn't invent color blocking." Oh my god, the attitude. He was so mad when Wet n Wild stole his colors and placement, but Ethan can't be mad when James does the same thing to him? David James Henry says, "He's being extremely reasonable, apologetic even. This isn't a battle worth fighting, and sharing these DMs doesn't do any good for you or your line of clothing. Seriously, Ethan, drop the businessman hat, put on the human hat, but don't put on the N-word hat." BLM says, "To everyone saying, 'Color block existed before,' needs to stop because James Charles acted like he invented makeup when he thought someone took his palette idea." Crimson responds to H3 by saying, "Damn, Ethan Klein needs to copyright all pastel colors," showing the other companies that are selling color block hoodies. Tasha says, "I meant to rip off Nike, and coincidentally ripped off your design simultaneously." Ela Klein quote tweets Ethan and says, "James Charles, I don't know anything about your brand. Also James Charles, I know enough about your brand to determine that my merch would not compete with Teddy Fresh." Ethan then responds, "Queen shit." Yet another day later, Ethan tweets out on the official Teddy Fresh account a picture of James's hoodie and says, "Big thank you to James Charles for wearing our color block hoodie." Just a Rick responds by saying, "Imagine creating a brand and building it from the ground up, and then having people complain you were starting drama when you try and defend your brand name." Michelle Makeup says, "This is just plain childish and immature now. If anyone with a conscience realizes that. I now have no intention buying from a company like yours who thrives off drama, reaching and causing so much stir over something you clearly didn't invent." Jesse Scott says, "Dude, I like you guys, I really do, but this is a shit take. It really is. That would be like me saying I own the color red, and saying no one else can make shirts or any other article of clothing with that color at all, because that's what you were doing." Megan says, "People keep missing the damn point. No one is saying Teddy Fresh invented color blocking. James is selling the exact same sweater with his own name on it. Big deal if his is more pastel. It's still the same colors in the same places. Oh, with an added pouch. What a change." And that's about it for the discussion around this drama. Well, not exactly. Keemstar started talking about it more and actually ended up selling his own version of a color block hoodie to get back at Ethan. But I'll be talking about that in another video, so if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe with notifications on, and also let me know in the comment section below. Whose side are you on, James Charles or H3? I feel like there's valid points on both sides, and I'm really curious to hear what you think. But if you want to hear what I think, be sure to follow me on Twitter because I give all my opinions on drama over there. Thank you so much to my channel members, in particular Sushi Joe, The Dank Memes Play, Turtle, Triplock, DPP, and A Zorich for $30 a month, Rubybox Fox for $40 a month, and Boar for $50 a month. This helps me out immensely. I appreciate it a lot. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video.